those who are coming on this particular platform. Welcome to India's largest online education platform. My name is Satish Yadav and people also call me Baba. So let's go and let's talk about today's topic. Today's topic is very important with respect to computer science students. You know why? Because in the whole computer science, if I'll be talking about all particular subjects, somewhere you will be using the counting principle, somewhere you will be using the combinatorics. Whether you will be taking or whether you will be talking about the operating system, the DBMS, or any particular topic, even in TOCs, compiler design, you name it, the counting is there. Sometimes we count it, sometimes we don't get the visualization. So today's topic is mostly related to that particular thing, how to count something. Obviously, we cannot cover the whole counting principle, but today we will be covering the two basic, you can say that two basic principles. One is called as a product rule and one is called as a sum rule. So today we will be talking about that particular rule and that is called as a counting principle. So this all comes under the combinatorics. So we'll go and we'll try to understand basically what is this combinatorics. Okay. But before that, let me tell you about myself. My name is Satish Yadav and I taught more than 1 lakh of students. Yes, you heard it. Okay. So we'll go and we'll talk about this, and I have also done a lot of research and people also called me Baba. That's it. And so these all are the batch related you can say that information, and you can also share these things to your friends. Okay. Yes, very good afternoon to Mitali, Divyansh, Gayatri, Raj, and then Surya. Okay, very good afternoon to all. You can share this session and you can also like this session. Okay, and these all are the batch related information. So those people who wants to join this Vision 2022, so those people can contact on this particular platform. Okay, so as I was talking about this whole thing, as I was talking about the counting principle, and this counting principle is basically related, you can say that it is used in all the subjects. Whether I'll be talking about the computer science, whether I'll be talking about any particular thing, the counting principle will be there, always will be there. There are two rules that we have to understand. One is basically called as a product rule, and then we'll try to understand the product rule, and then we'll go and we'll try to understand the sum rule. Okay, so let's go and let's try to understand basically what is a product rule. What is counting? Counting is nothing but, suppose if there are 5 different panes or 5 panes, I have to count it with some specific properties, and that is called as a combinatorics. Counting with the specific properties, that is called as a combinatorics. So I will count it. There is one task. Okay, don't see these things, just try to understand. Okay, just try to understand basically how the whole thing we can count it. Let's consider there is a task, a T. So over here we'll try to understand basically there is one task. Let's consider there is a task T, and this task, what is this task? This task is to count something. What we will do, we will try to divide this task into 2 parts. Let's consider this is T1, let's consider this is T2. There is one task. What is that task? We have to count something, and this task is divided into 2 parts. Let's consider T1 is one part, let's consider T2 is another part. And if you try to understand this particular definition, what they are saying that, suppose there is a procedure that can be broken down into sequence of 2 tasks. As I have already told you, let's consider T1 and T2. There are 2 tasks. First try to understand the definition, and then I will give you example, then you can easily understand what exactly the product rule. It's a very simple and it's a very sweet definition of a product rule that you can understand. So there is one task. What is that task? To count something. Try to divide this thing into 2 parts. Sir, why 2 parts? Why not 3 parts? That we can see into generalized product rule. But right now, let's try to divide into 2 parts. So here there is a task T1 and then there is a task T2. Now what you will do, let's consider there are N1 ways to do the task T1 and there are N2 ways to do the task T2. Sir, what is N1 ways? Sir, what is the meaning of ways? It is nothing. It is nothing. For example, suppose these all are the ways I can choose the color. So ways matlab hota hai tarika. It is possibilities. So these all are the different, you can say that the color, so that I can write it over here. So N1 ways, N1 tarika, you can say that N1 possibility to do the task T1, N2 possibility to do the task T2. At this point of time, it is just a half of the definition. What is that definition? Let's try to understand. There is a task T that you can divide into two tasks, T1, T2. In T1, there are N1 ways we can do the T1, N2 ways we can do the T2. After that, okay, after that, what it will be going to be there, that is very important. Let's consider if there are N1 ways we can do the task T1, okay, and there are and then there are N2 ways we can do the second task. There are N1 ways we can do the first task and N2 ways we can do the second task. Now that there is one statement that is very important, and what is that? Both the tasks are happening simultaneously. So this statement that you have to understand, okay, both the tasks are happening simultaneously, and for each of N1 ways we can perform the N2 ways. Sir, not understood. Okay, which subject you teach an upcoming batch? I will be taking the upcoming batch, weekend batch, discrete maths. We will be starting. So maybe on the Saturday, Sunday weekend batch, we will be starting one weekend batch, and I will be taking classes into that. Okay, so let's try to understand. Very simple way. There is a task T. This task is divided into two parts, T1, T2. There are N1 ways we can do the T1, N2 ways we can do the T2. And for each of this N1 we can perform N2. For each of this N1 we can perform the N2, and both the tasks are happening simultaneously. If both the tasks are happening simultaneously, then what is the total ways that we can do it is basically N1 into N2. Sir, I understood your definition. Sir, I understood what is T1. I understood what is N1 ways. But sir, can you give me one example so that I can understand? Yes, surely. Without example, this is nothing. This is nothing. Okay, so try to understand this particular thing, and based on that we will try to understand that definition. Let's try to understand how many different bit strings of length 2 are there. That is very simple statement any computer science students can understand. Or another way of frame it, how many codes you can generate if I will give you 2 bit of code, okay, 2-bit signal. How many codes you can generate if I will give you 2-bit? So there is one task. Let's consider this is the whole task. Okay, this is the task to calculate the total number of a code. Now what will happen? There is 1 bit over here, there is 1 bit over here. So try to divide this task as I have already told you. There is a task, and what is that T? Now try to divide it into T1 and then try to divide it into T2. And so there is this half of the definition, task divide it. So let's consider this is T1, let's consider this is T2. Now after that, this statement is very important. How many ways you can write anything over here? Either you can write 0 or you can write 1. So there is 2 ways you can write it down. I hope you can understand or you can relate the definition. Task T divided into T1 and T2, and there are T1 ways. Okay, so let's try to understand. There are 2 ways we can do T1, and there are 2 ways also we can do T2. Sir, what is this? What you are trying to explain? I am not trying to explain anything. Let me ask very straightforward. How many codes you can generate if I will give you 2-bit? So you will be saying, okay sir, 2-bit. So I will be writing 0 0, I will be writing 0 1, I will be writing 1 0, and then I will be writing 1 1. So that is the, I am trying to explain in the inside story of that. And what is that inside story? Task T divide into T1, T2. T1 there are 2 ways, T2 there are 2 ways. So according to the product rule, what it is trying to say that the total ways that we can write is basically 4 ways. And what is that 4 ways? These all are the 4 ways. It's a very simple to understand the definition of a product rule. So in order to understand the definition of a product rule, it is very important. For each of N1, मतलब हर एक T1 के लिए T2 आना चाहिए और दोनों साथ में होना चाहिए. So let me go and let me try to explain you this particular thing one more time. Okay, let's consider this thing. For example, this is T1, this is T2. For this 0, again it is happening, and this for 1, again it is happening. So the total one will be what? The total one that you will be getting is basically 4 ways you will be having. So there is a task T1. So how many ways you can write it? You can write it in 2 ways. 2 ways, and this one is also in 2 ways. So this will clear all the definitions with respect to what? With respect to which is called as what? Which is called as a product rule. So हर एक N1 के लिए N2 आना चाहिए और दोनों simultaneously, both the things are happening simultaneously. For each of N1, N2 should be there and both the things are happening simultaneously. If you'll find something like that, then what you can understand such that you have to use the product rule. This is one of the basic concept many students are lagging, and you can use into what? You can use into the computer science, and you can calculate many things. I hope you have understood. Come on, reply. You can reply. Okay, I can watch all of your comments, and yes, please like the session, and you can yes, Harsh. Yes. Okay, so in this way you can actually calculate basically the counting principle, or if you want to relate with this particular definition, you can also relate with respect to this particular definition. And what is that definition? Let's go and let's try to understand over here, such that how many codes you can generate if I will give you 2 bit. So try to, this is 1 bit, this is another bit. So here what will be happening? Let's consider this is task T1 and then this is task T2. So this one is happening in how many ways? This one is happening in 2 ways, and this one is also happening in 2 ways. So the total ways that you will be getting is basically 4. So this is your answer. Now you can relate with respect to this particular thing. Okay, and this statement is very important. This statement is very important such that each of these ways, doing the first task, there are N2 ways we can do the second task. So if you want to understand this particular line, so I can also show you this particular line, and what is that particular line, such that if you want to understand, so this is 0, this is 1. For 0, 0 and 1 is happening, and for 1, 0 and 1 is happening. This is very important concept. If you can understand, then it's a very simple thing, but actually it is very useful to solve many particular questions. Okay, if you have understood the definition of a product rule, we'll go and we'll try to understand the other thing also. Okay, let's consider there is one question. How many different license plates can be made if each plate contains a sequence of 4 uppercase English letters followed by 5 digits? See, in any combinatorics question, if they have not used the word as a distinct, you can repeat it, no problem into that. Always keep that thing in mind. If they have not used any word, then you can repeat it, no problem. So there is a task, this task T, and I will try to divide this task into 2 parts. Let's consider T1 and let's consider this is T2. So what is this T1? So T1 is basically, let's consider, which is nothing but here. I'll write T1 here. So T1 is the ways of writing 4 uppercase English letters, okay, and followed by 5 digits. So let's consider this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and then followed by this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. See, you may have seen the number plates like something like MH021995A. This is one particular, just a random. And then see, these 2 letters are followed by 2 digits. In this way, I have designed one particular question. So let's go and let's try to understand basically what is happening over here. Let's consider that. So there is a task T. How many ways we can write 4 English uppercase letters? As I have told you, if they have not given anything, then we can repeat it. How many ways we can write? Which is nothing but 26 ways. Now, this is my question to all of you. Now let's go and let's try to understand. See, if we have written 26, so there would be addition or there would be multiplication. What the product rule is saying, for each of this, if it is happening, something like that, for each of this, if it is happening, then what we will go and what we will try to understand, we have to use the multiplication. I hope you have clear or you have understood basically what is the meaning of addition and what is the meaning of, which is nothing but product rule or sum rule. Sum rule I have not taught, but let me explain you that. See, simultaneously है, multiply करो. If something is happening simultaneously, say here I can write something in 26 ways, and then there is a multiplication. Again simultaneously I can write, and again simultaneously I can write, again simultaneously I can write it. So over here, how many ways you can write a digit? That is nothing but 10 ways. Again simultaneously I can write it, again simultaneously I can write it, and then write it. So what will be the total ways that you will be getting is basically 26 raised to 4 into 10 raised to 5. So this is the total ways we can calculate this number plate. If something is happening simultaneously, then we can go and we can write it. No, Abhirup, they have not used any word as a distinct or something, so we can repeat it, no problem into that. 4 uppercase English letter followed by 5 digits. So this is one example. Let's consider this is A 5 5 5 5 5 and 5. This is one example to generate the number plates. In this way we can perform the multiplication. So multiplication is very particular, very important. You should know where to multiply, you should know where to add it. When we have to do the multiplication we have to do when there is something is called as a simultaneously. Let's consider this particular question of a set theory. What it is saying, how many functions are there from a set with 3 elements to a set with 2 elements? Sir, I don't understand the first of all the question is. Basically what they are trying to say that there is one function that going from A to B, and cardinality of A is basically 3, and then cardinality of B is basically 2. So how many ways we can do it? Simultaneously multiply. Let's consider one example. If we will try to take one particular example, we can easily understand. Let's consider this is A, this is B, this is C, and then 0 is over here, and then 1 is over here. How many functions would be possible? And those people who knows the functions, different arrows means different functions, different arrows means different functions. Now if all will be pointing to this, see what is happening over here. When A is pointing to 0, when B is pointing to 0, when A is pointing to 0, B is pointing to 0, C is pointing to 0, all are happening simultaneously. This is basically one type of functions that you will be getting. Another type of function, this is A, this is B, this is C, and here you will be getting 0 and 1. Now there is another possibility, something like that. So if you will try to relate, what you will be getting, this is 0 0 0, this is 0 0 1 you will be getting. So basically over here this is A, this is B, this is C. See, A is having a 2 possibility, either it can point to 0 or it can point to 1. A is having a 2 possibility, either it can point to 0 or it can point to 1. So how many possibility it will have? 2 possibility. B is also having a 2 possibility, either it can point to 0 or it can point to 1. So how many possibility it will have? It will also have a 2 possibility. In the same way, C can also point to 0 and C can also point to 1. How many possibility it will have? It will be having a 2 possibility. So there is a multiplication that you have to understand. So that is why 2 into 2 into 2, and then that you will be getting 2 raised to 3. This is the total number of functions that you people will be getting over here. When to multiply? When all the things are happening simultaneously. Sir, इनके बीच में addition क्यों नहीं है? इनके बीच में addition क्यों नहीं? Why there is no addition? Because both the things, when A is also pointing, B is also pointing, C is also pointing, all are pointing at the same time, simultaneously, then there is a multiplication. If something is happening simultaneously, we can say that there is a multiplication. So that is the concept of what? That's the concept of a product rule. In order to understand this question, you should understand definition of a function. Then only you can understand. If you have understood, then we will move to the next one, and that is also very important. Okay, how many functions are there from a set with m element to a set with n elements? So this is the same thing that we have taken, m equals to 3 and n equals to 3. So the answer we got is basically 2 raised to 3. So whenever you will have something like right side raised to left side, this is one concept of a function. So this is one example of a function that you can understand. Okay, let's move to this particular concept. Now this will clear your doubt. Okay, instead of writing this, instead of understanding this, see what, as I have told you, see, try to understand this question. The question, what it is trying to say, that what is the value of k? What it is trying to say, that what is the value of a k? There is one program that they have written, as I have told you, when something is happening simultaneously, and for each of n1, see, for each of n1, each of n2 is happening, and for each of n1 into n2, n3 is happening, and in this way n10 will be happening. So what you can understand over here? You can easily understand what is the value of a k. See, k has started from 0. Now, once I will, okay sir, I am not getting this particular thing. Okay, let me explain you this. For I that is moving from 1 to n1, let's consider for j, and that is moving from 1 to n2. If I will ask you, if I will ask you what it will be producing, or how many times the loop will be there. See, when I is moving 1, then j is moving from 1 to n2. When I is moving from 2, nested loop, and then j is moving from 1 to n2. See, each of n1 ways we can perform n2. Each of n1 ways we can perform n2. Each of n1 ways we can perform n2, and both the things are happening simultaneously. हर एक n1 के लिए n2 हो रहा है. जब हर एक n1 के लिए n2 होगा, both the things are happening simultaneously, then how many times it will be moving, and then you will be getting n1 into n2. ऐसे ही time complexity निकालते हो ना. For I is moving from I to n, j to n, then order of n square. You people are calculating the time complexity. How it will be like that? In the same way, what is the value? So here I have taken the value k equal to 0, and then for these all are the nested loop. Okay, these all are the nested loop. And then what will be the value of a k? The value of a k that you will be getting is basically n1 into n2 into n3, and then dot 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 n10 you will be getting. I hope you have understood what exactly I am trying to tell you. What exactly I am trying to tell you. Okay, so this is the product rule. कुछ नहीं है product rule. Product rule is nothing. If something is happening simultaneously, okay, if something is happening simultaneously, and for each of n1, n2 is there, then we have to use what? We have to use, which is nothing but a product rule. Okay, now it's time to go and try to understand basically what is the sum rule. It's a very simple thing. Again, the same definition. Let's consider there is a task T, and this task we can divide it into T1, and we can divide it into T2, and let's consider there are n1 ways we can do the T1, and let's consider there are n2 ways we can do the T2. Same, till here there is no definition. Okay, till here there is no differences between the sum rule and product rule. In the sum rule also, the task T is there, this can be divided into T1, T2. The task in a sum rule also, the task T, that can be divided into T1 and T2. Till now there is no problem, there is no differences. But where is that difference? Difference is basically when something is not happening simultaneously. When something is not happening simultaneously, then we have to use the addition. So in a very simple way, or in a very lucid way, I can say that if something is not happening simultaneously, then we can say that you have to use addition. If something is not happening simultaneously, then we can use the addition. If something is happening simultaneously, then we can say that there will be a multiplication. Very simple question or very simple concept. Whenever you will see something is happening simultaneously, all our things are happening simultaneously, there is a multiplication. Something is not happening simultaneously, then there is a addition. Sir, not understood till now. Let me give you this particular example and everybody can understand. There is one lady and she wants to do the shopping. Let's consider a woman has decided to shop at one of the store either in Delhi or in Noida. Okay, Delhi or Noida. If she visited Delhi, let's consider there is one task. This task T, this can be divided into T1 and then this can be divided into T2. Let's consider if she goes to Delhi or Noida. If she goes to Delhi, she is having a 3 possibility. 1, this is 2, this is 3. If she goes to Noida, she will have a 2 possibilities. So there is a task T that can be divided into 2 tasks or 3 tasks. there is a task T2 that can be divided into two parts. So here we can do these things in two ways, and here this we can do in three ways. Acha, if she will go to Delhi, then she will have three choices. She can buy a book or a furniture or a jewelry. So she is having a three choices. Now if she will go to Noida, she will have a two choices. Then how many ways she can do the shopping? Now, let me clear this. If she will present in Delhi, she will not be present in Noida until and unless she is a ghost. Yes. Obviously, if I'm present in Noida, I won't be present in Delhi. The tasks are not happening simultaneously. If tasks are not happening simultaneously, then how many ways she can do the shopping? Arey, very simple re babu, 3 plus 2, and that you will be getting is what? That you will be getting is 5 ways. Then how many ways she can do the shopping? And that you will be getting what? That you will be getting is 5 ways. In this manner, we can go and we can try to understand the whole particular thing. Yes or no? Are you getting my point or not? Come on. So here, over here, these things we can understand is basically what is the total ways, or when the things are happening simultaneously, when the things are not happening simultaneously. So when the things are happening simultaneously, then we have to multiply. When the things are not happening simultaneously, then we have to do the addition. So simultaneously multiplication, not simultaneously addition. That's a very simple thing. Now if you try to understand the other thing that I have just now told you, okay, let me take these things, or let me try to solve this particular question. And what is that particular question is basically this. Now suppose over here your I is moving from C. Now what will be the value of this? See, it started from 0. Now the value that you will be getting is basically N1 over here. Here the things are happening simultaneously. No, the things are not happening simultaneously as compared to the previous one. Over here, this will be, you will be getting N2. So the total ways or the total values of a K that you will be getting is basically N1 plus N2 plus N3 and then plus N4 and then ... you will be getting N10. I hope it's very clear in the previous one and then this particular question. What is the total ways that you will be getting over here? See, here what you will be getting, the total ways you will be getting N1, the total ways you will be getting N2, and then in this manner the total ways you will be getting is basically N10. So the total ways that you will be getting is basically N1 plus N2 plus N3. I hope it's clear. In the previous example, there was N1 into N2 into N3. If you want to see the slide, I can show you the slide also. Okay. Yes, see this. For each of N1, N2 is happening, each of N2, N3 is happening. All the things are happening simultaneously. But over here, if you try to see that, see, if you try to see that, what is happening over here, such that for each of this, these all are not happening simultaneously. When something is not happening simultaneously, then we can easily say that there will be what? There will be the addition rule. So we can also go and we can also try to understand. And what is that? The first thing that we let me tell you is basically the product rule. And what is that product rule? The product rule that you will be getting is basically when the things are happening simultaneously. This is very important. When the things are happening simultaneously. And what is the sum rule that you will be getting over here? The sum rule that you will be getting is basically when the things are not happening simultaneously. So it's a very, very, very important. Now let me take one particular example where I can clear all the doubts regarding your addition and then multiplication, regarding your sum rule and then product rule. So let me take you that particular example and I can show you, and let me show you what is that. Let's consider there is a station A. Okay, this is one station A. Let's consider this is one station B, and let's consider there is a station C. Now if I will be asking you, let's consider from A to B there are 5 ways we can go. From A to B there are 5 ways we can go. Okay, 4 and then 5. From B to C 3 ways we can go. And directly from A to C again 3 ways. Okay, let's consider this is nothing but one particular example. So from A to B, let me write over here somewhere. So A to B, you can't see it. from A to B 5 ways. Okay, let's consider from here to here 5 ways, from here to here 3 ways, and then from A to C 3 ways. Now suppose if I will ask you how many ways, okay, if I will ask you how many ways we can go from A to C via B. Let's consider this particular question. Now how many ways we can go from A to C via B? So suppose I want to go from A to C via B. Now what is happening? Please try to understand. If you can understand this particular concept, then everything will be clear. Believe me, everything will be clear. See, from A to C, you have to go from A to C. Now, ab kya hoga? Suppose if I will be taking this particular route, then for this particular route, again there are 3 different routes. Simultaneously things are happening. So for the first route, there are 3 different routes. For the second route, again there are 3 different routes. For the third route, again there are 3 different routes. So we can say that there is a simultaneously things are happening, and then 5 into 3, 15 ways you can do it. Simultaneously मतलब इधर से गया आ गया भाई. आ रहा समझ में नहीं आ रहा बोलो. So from A to C there are 15 different ways we can go and we can try to understand. So for this route again I can go. Now suppose if I will ask you normal question, how many ways? Okay. Now let me ask you this particular question, and what is that? How many ways such that we can go from A to C? अब मेरे पास 2 ऑप्शन है, पहला वाया B, ओके, और विदाउट वाया B. अब होगा क्या मालूम है? मेरे को पता है, सी आई नो दैट टू गो फ्रॉम A to C, this total will give me 15 ways. The total one will be giving me 15 ways. How many ways? 15 ways. लेकिन now if I am present on this particular route, I can't be present on this particular route. If I am present on this route, सीधी सी बात है, ये देखो यहाँ चल रहा हूं मैं बाबा. If I am present on this particular route, I can't be present over there. If I am present on that particular route, I can't be present over here. अरे भूत थोड़ी हूँ, बाबा हूँ. Yes, tell me. Come on. So 15 ways if I'm going from here, and then 3 ways different. So now the total that I will be getting basically, over here is 15 plus 3 ways. So this is the total ways that I will be getting. And what is that? 15 plus 3 different ways. So this is the combination of what? This is combination of a product rule and sum rule both. So here you can understand basically, okay, how to go with the product rule, how to go with the sum rule. So in this way we can easily understand when to do the multiplication. See, in the first route we have to do the multiplication. If I'm talking about the whole particular route, then what will happen? I have to do the addition. So either I will be present on this particular route or I will be present on this particular route. So in this way we can understand where to use the product rule, where not to use the product rule. Simultaneously product rule, simultaneously not, then there will be what? There will be the addition rule or sum rule. So this is the basic of accounting. So now as you can say that we can use into the programming. You may have seen that I have taken 2 different types of application. One is called as what? One is called as you can say the set theory wala liya, and dusra programming. So counting is very important in another application to calculate the total number of a super keys. Okay, another example to calculate the serializability and transaction. So these all are very, very important. If you know how to count it, you can easily understand with the many particular things. Okay, so these all are the sessions. And please like the like this session, and if you like it, and you can share with all of your friends. Though if you're thinking that this person is not very good into the counting, show this video to that person. Okay, this person is not good into the counting, show this video to that particular person, so that everyone can enjoy and everyone can take the advantage of it. Okay, so just try to help to those particular people. Okay, so that's it for the today. So I just wanted to give you a brief introduction about the counting principles, and we'll come up with the different examples every day. Okay, there will be a little bit change into the plan. And what is that plan? Such that every day on Gradeup app, okay, every day on Gradeup app I will be taking you can say that it will be a free classes every day 12 p.m. okay, and it is totally free, and on YouTube every day 2 p.m. okay. So we'll hope that you all people will come. Okay, so thank you so much for coming over here, and those people who wants to join the batch, those people can also join it. Okay, so there are different types of batches. So let's consider there are batches on March 9. Okay, there will be one batch. Okay, and then on March 13 there will be a weekend batch that we will be starting, so it's a very good thing. Okay, March 13. And if you want to to understand the fee structures and each and everything, then you can also contact on this particular number. Okay, so there is a very great opportunity, and then I will be taking the classes on this particular 13 March. Okay, so there will be a great thing that you people can watch it. And these all are the faculties that you people will have. Okay, so yes, thank you all, thank you for watching this particular video, and you can share and you can like, and as I have also told you, you can those people who are very much interested, they can join this batch. There is a special guidance program that we are starting on the 13th, so very few days are left, so you can share these things with your friend also, so you can take the admission into that. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this particular video. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.
दो ऑप्शंस है, सिर्फ प्रेप करो या ग्रेडअप के साथ सही प्रेप करो। ये है मिस आरती जासूस, कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम के इंडिया की सारी फैकल्टी के बारे में सब कुछ पता है।
वेंकट सर की क्लास के कॉन्सेप्ट्स और नीलम मैम के क्लास के एग्जाम्पल्स और दीपक सर के वीडियोस में प्रीवियस ईयर्स के क्वेश्चंस।
इतनी फैकल्टी ढूंढ ली, अब तो एग्जाम क्लियर होगा ना?
आई डोंट नो।
आप सिर्फ सही प्रेप कीजिए और एक्सपर्ट फैकल्टी को आप तक लाने के लिए ग्रेडअप है ना।
ग्रेडअप के साथ सही प्रेप है
तो लाइफ सेट है।
डाउनलोड